And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the winners match of the LiuLi Cup 2024 Grand Finals Group B. We've just been able to wrap up our first two series of the night, and I'll be here to determine which player advances on to the playoffs in first place. Who's it going to be? As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the South Korean Protoss player. Oh good, I'm dying. The South Korean Protoss, the blue Protoss representing Weibo Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Finnish Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Serral. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat as the Gamba is open for at least a couple of minutes here. And we'll see who makes it through into the first round or into the next round, into the playoffs in first place. Oh boy. Personally, I mean, this could go either way. Personally, I would love to see an ace match. I would love to see a game 3 between these two players, but the pressure is on. And coming into this, I would say that Serral is the favorite, is of course the favorite player coming in. But if there's ever a player to contend against Serral in the PvZ matchup, it is going to be herO. Now, what I will say, we're going to be loading into Abyssal Reef as game 1. An interesting choice here for game number 1, especially considering what we just saw in the first series between Serral and herO. And I'm sure so we've seen Serral and Mana, I meant to say. And herO, I'm sure he was watching. I'm sure he was watching. I'm sure he was paying attention. And as a result, I'm a little bit concerned for Serral. Abyssal Reef is one of the largest maps. One of the largest maps in the map pool. It is the most defendable map in the map pool as well. On a 3, 4, 5 base setup, it is much more easier on this map than any other map. I mean, arguably Neo-Violet Square, but more so than any other map, I would say, to secure yourself and to max out and to embrace Sky Toss. Now, herO, he isn't really one to do that too often, but he's willing to embrace Sky Toss nonetheless. I know that herO has an aggressive reputation, that is true, but if you're watching herO versus Shin in the Grand Finals of Alima League yesterday in that best of 5, then you would know that herO, he did rush into Sky Toss twice in that series. Did rush into a Fleet Beacon, into a second Stargate, into Tempest production, or even one game we just went single Stargate and single Tempest production. I believe that was actually on Abyssal Reef as well. So herO, he is willing to play that kind of way, that kind of style, to take advantage, I should say, of Abyssal Reef. Likewise, it's all in that kind of setup, in that kind of scenario where a Protoss player is able to comfortably get into a 4-base economy, that Serral did struggle against Mana. So, we'll see. We'll see if herO does the same. So far, herO being assertive, hunting down an Overlord. It's going to be zoned away. Just shaving off some Lings. Nice trades nonetheless here from herO. Taking down 2 Lings and backing up. As there's a recall back home. As herO did open Stalker. Adepts are building up. Oracle's on the way as it was a Stargate opener. And the question becomes, what tech do we go for after the Stargate? Where we drop? Do we go into a Twilight Council, into earlier tech? It's going to be, okay, Oracle into Void Ray. Are we going for the Fleet Beacon? I'm curious. Lings that have arrived to delay the 3rd. Alas, herO is in position. He should be able to expand. Oracle moves out. Oracle does move out, does take down at least some of the tumors, just maintaining some presence here on the map. 3rd base is on the way. Void Ray about to bounce, and the question becomes, where do we go from here? Void Ray does 2nd Oracle. Interesting. Now, the power of a Void Ray opener in this matchup is to hunt down Overlords. That's all it is, just to hunt down Overlords, deny vision, deny scouting, to make sure Serral is in the dark. And where do we go from here? There it is, Twilight Council. Twilight Council as the 3rd base is halfway done, so we should be going into a Forge momentarily, into +1 and Blink. There we go, Forge on the way, into our standard setup. So the Void Ray was a cheeky maneuver here by herO, and he will find an Overlord. True. Does get at least 1. He's going to get a 2nd. 2 Overlords going down. And here he's aware of the 3rd Overlord towards the north as well. So pretty good value so far. Catching 2 Overlords, supply blocking Serral. We'll take shield damage, but does escape. Does get away, looking for another Overlord. And again, should be able to find the Overlord here outside of the natural. Has yet to go for it, though. He has yet to commit. Meanwhile, plus on Blink, as I did mention, herO just going to be saturating his third base and gearing up towards the mid-game. As Double Oracle does threaten the natural, getting 2 drones. 2 workers do fall. I mean, shout out to Serral, he does save the Overlord as well. He intentionally pulls it away. Does keep it safe. As the Upstate dive into the main. Nice target firing at a herO. Does focus on 5, 6. Oh my god, 7. Does he get 8? Oh my god, almost. 7 workers go down to the depths. Very nicely done. Double Oracle into the main. Queen's on quite a position, and he does not get another worker, but does scout all the tech. The Roach Warren, the Hydra Den. The researching buildings. Here he retreats. Again, still trading well, moving out with those stalkers, forcing Serral back. And he's been trading well. Behind this, working towards Storm. We spoke earlier about how Storm-based opener and Storm-based play has been a lot more popular as of late, thanks to the patch, of course, thanks to NG Overcharge. So is taking into Storm, just applying pressure. Here, he has no intention of pushing into these bases. It's all about just maintaining map control and maintaining creep control as well. As tumors are being focused down, and Serral's being pinned back. It's just all giving herO more breathing room so he can tech. Gets another tumor and going for the queen. Doesn't dive, but does get a queen. Queen goes down. Stasis goes up, and not bad. But the stalker's getting caught out, and it looks like Serral he gets 2. 2 stalkers do fall. Decent pickups. herO's being forced back. Playing with fire. Okay, calm down. herO he has to retreat. And Serral comes in with a surround. The punish is real. Gets another stalker. He gets 1. He gets 2. 2 more stalkers go down. Storm coming in. Just now done in time. Oh, but the Leagues are coming for the surround, and they get 1. They do get a High Templar. Nice start stepping here from Serral. Gets the Void Ray. And here he's punished for being a little bit too assertive, a little bit too aggressive. Did need to back off sooner. And with that, that was 2 High Templar falling and 6 stalkers. An Oracle as well. And again, Oracles, they do hold and maintain value over time. So there's only 1 Oracle left. Behind this, here he's on 4 bases, as you did mention. The 4 base setup is quite secure, and the 5th base as well. As here he does move out. He's got 4 High Templar, soon to be 4 Storms. Doesn't want to waste them. See Serral moving up for a counterattack. Catching reinforcements. Oh, High Templar is going to get caught out. Nice pickup. High Templar goes down for Lings. So nice trades here by Serral. Double Lurker Den behind this. Hive is done. Serral trying to rush into Lurker tech. As he's stuck on Ling Hydra. But he's set up for a surround. Trying to collapse on the army. And herO, he has to back up. Storm does land. There's 2 High Templar left. Up, the Leagues, they go for the dive. They force the Archon. No more Storms. And with that, Serral, he can kite well. He can shut down all the Zealots, shut down the Gateway Army. 1 more Storm or 2 more Storms would have been enough. The last Serral, he will clean this up. In a very efficient manner as well. And here, he's down to 3 remaining High Templar. He has 1 Storm. Does hold. But those are expensive losses for herO. See here, he lost 5 High Templar. Ay. And the 1 remaining Oracle. These have been rough trades. And the problem is that here, he was hoping to break Serral before Lurkers. Lurkers are now morphing in. They're not ready yet, though. Lurkers not quite ready, but they're about to finish. And here he has failed to break Serral before taking up. Lurkers have arrived, and now here he's forced into Sky Toss. So we go +1 air attack, second Stargate, and a Fleet Beacon all get thrown down as soon as Hero sees the Lurkers. This was never the initial plan, and because of that, this is a little bit late. It means that there's going to be a window. There's going to be a window in time where Serral is going to be able to be maxed out with Lurker tech, and Hero won't have Sky Toss. We'll see if Hero can survive. As the pressure's on. Storm's not bad. They land the Lurkers, land the Lings. At the same time, Serral going for his own Lurker counterattack. He does have, of course, the low ground he can take advantage of. Here's him across the map. Ooh, he's shut down by the Queens. Oh my god, and the Lurkers are in position. At the same time, Hero does push in towards the low ground. Lurkers are coming from behind. They collapse on the army. Oh, there is detection, but so many Stalkers go down. Oh god, no. This was not the fight to take. Stalkers, they crumble. At the same time, Lurkers, they abuse the mineral line. Hero, he is denied mining, and Hero is falling behind. At this point, he is falling behind. Again, the aggression of Hero had potential, almost, but not quite. Throughout the course of the game, Serral, who's just sniping High Templar after High Templar, stifling any kind of aggression or any kind of army that Hero had. Bought enough time. And now Hero has to be more defensive. Hero, he has to turtle up back at home instead. And now Serral has free reign. Serral has full map control, setting up for a Doom Drop. Drop Lords are ready. Here comes the army to load up. Likewise, there are still Lurkers on the right hand side as well. And we'll see if Serral can break Hero. Now again, because Hero lost so much supply being aggressive, it means that coming into this defensive setup, Hero, he's down in army supply. He's further behind than he otherwise should have been. So he's having a hard time splitting up. Lurkers, once again, they get behind the mineral line. So pushing in. Nice clean up here by Hero. He's with the Lurkers, but they get dropped into the natural. Hero out of position. Serral moving in. Oof. Some panic storms out of Hero. And here he just cannot keep up. And not anymore. Here he was so committed earlier. And he was just not ready for this kind of game state. I mean, he was hoping to avoid it. And he didn't. Wasn't able to. We'll lose the natural. We'll clean up all these Lurkers. And we'll see if Hero can stabilize. Bearing in mind that Hero, over time, he's slowly catching up in supply, slowly maxing out. But Serral, he rotates. Once again, gets behind the mineral line, within range of the Nexus. For the production. Catching a Robo, a Gateway. You see Hero, yeah, he's all in. He's forced to counterattack. Essentially going for a base trade. Everything else is on fire. Everything else is flashing red. Pushing right down the center. The Lings, they could have a hard time against the Archons, but there's a wave of Lurkers on the way on the high ground. And once they finish up, Serral, he will defend. Oh, so he runs into the Immortals. Immortals, they pop off. Lurkers, they come in for the surround. And Hero, he's forced back. Here, he's just forced back from here. Did save his bases at least. Does still have that fourth. But the economy isn't there. Hero does have a comparable army to work with, though. Patching out the Lings. Here he does take down an expansion. Hatchery is going to go down. Taking down 2 bases. So going for a massive counterattack. The lurkers are somewhat exposed. And here, can he collapse on the army? Nice cloak. Cloak is activated. Catching out the lurkers. 2, 3, 4 lurkers going down. Serral bleeding out a lot of supply here. And I mean, again, even though here his economy is lackluster, I mean, he can still pull this off. He's up to how many Tempests? 6. 6 Tempests for Hero. He has plenty of storms. His army has come together. And there it is. GG gets called. Serral, he is going to be overwhelmed. And Hero takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Oh my god, as I had assumed that initially Serral was going to be able to defend with his lurkers, that he was going to be able to hold on, but alas, he was not. He got caught out. So many lurkers went down earlier when he tried to move out, and Hero, even though he had a less than ideal economy, he was like on 2 bases. He was like on a 2-base economy. He did have a terrifying army, and GG. GG, well played. Hero takes a lead. Hero does take a lead, and Hero needs one more game to take down Serral and to advance on in first place. Whew, here we go. Now, what I will say is that Abyssal Reef is one of the more extreme maps out there, where it is, again, very defendable, and even though Hero was losing workers, he wasn't losing bases. Like, he was still able to maintain a semblance of an economy to maintain himself and to maintain that sky toss. On some of these smaller maps, it is much more difficult to pull that off on, but this is going to be an interesting one. This is often vetoed. I'll be honest, I don't think I've casted on Ultra Love in a week, maybe more. It's been a while. I'll be honest, it's been a long time, but Ultra Love did not get vetoed here in this series, and we're loading in game 2. There's a lot to get into. Oh boy. There's a reason why it is often vetoed, as we do embrace game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss leading the series 1-0, representing Weibo Gaming. It is Hero. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Finnish Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Basilisk. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Serral. We go. Now, when it comes to Ultra Love, on the one hand, it is a smaller map. It is smaller compared to Abyssal, compared to Neo-Violet Square, King's Cove as well. So it is a smaller map, has a shorter rush distance by ground, but on the flip side, very defendable. Very defendable bases. Your natural, your 3rd base, your 4th base, your 5th base. We have very often seen a split map on Ultra Love because of how defendable the bases are, and also because of all the points of elevation. I'm referring to these ramps. We have very narrow ramps and choke points coming in past the halfway mark, whether it's here towards Zelnaga, whether it's further south, whether it's these narrow bridges in the center of the map as well. Because of that, whether it's TVP or TBT or ZvP even, we have seen a lot of late game here on Ultra Love. And I'm sure that's a scenario that Serral wants to avoid if at all possible. Likewise, Hero as well, to be fair. Like in the last game, even though Abyssal Reef is known for turtling and known for being more defensive, Hero was very aggressive. I mean, he wasn't too successful, he wasn't as successful as he wanted to be with it, but he was able to fall back on a more secure base economy here, despite his aggression not quite killing Serral initially. So I'm curious how Hero is going to approach this as well, as Hero usually isn't one to back off and to slow down and to have a slower approach. Did take up into Skytill's last game, but it was off the back of being in the face of Serral. That's how Hero does typically approach things. So we'll see. We'll see how assertive Hero is going to be this time in game 2. For now, gate expand into Cybercore, standard opener, into Stargate as well. Everything looking as it should. See where Serral takes this. As we're getting to our third hatchery is on the way. Serral, he is saturating. It's building up. And this time, interesting, it is not going to be an Oracle opener, it's going to be a Void Ray opener instead. Okay, now if you recall last game, herO did open Void Ray, in a sense. He went Oracle into Void Ray, he was able to catch 2 Overlords. This time, Void Ray first. Now, with an earlier Void Ray, this tells me that herO's follow-up tech is going to be more hidden. It's going to be more difficult for Serral to scout. Is there anything to hide, or is it going to be a standard game? I mentioned before that we have seen herO rush into Tempest before. I'm not so certain that this is a good map for Tempest Rush. I mean, maybe I haven't seen enough of Ultra Love in that kind of scenario specifically. But the Void Ray does move out. And herO does expand. Third base is on the way. Oracle follow-up. And we'll keep an eye on the timing of the tech. As Serral is supply blocked. Oh. Yeah, the supply block is brutal. Overlord went down. Serral attempts to scout. And the herO should shut down the Overlord as well. At the same time, Serral, he does threaten a run-by. Once again, getting supply blocked. Losing all these Overlords can be frustrating. We can see, of course, no fast tech. There's a gateway, but there's no Twilight Council, no Stargate, at least not early on. Third base is almost done, and we should now be seeing a more standard timing. There we go, Twilight Council and Forge, +1 and Blink. So, Void Ray opener into a standard setup. Nothing too crazy out of herO, not in game 2. Let's say Threaten the Shade. Threaten the Shade. herO diving into the natural. Gets a couple of workers. 4 drones go down. Serral, he is aggressively spreading creep forward. Virtual One's almost done. Okay, Eva Chamber's on the way. Okay, with the Eva Chamber, should be working on upgrades. Serral, he's droning, getting a 4th base, and settling in. The pressure is going to be on herO to try to stifle this creep. I mean, it's already halfway across the map. We spoke earlier, this is a much smaller map compared to Abyssal Reef. So herO, he needs to be active. Speaking of, here he comes. Gets Revelation. He does miss one of the active tumors, so a little bit unfortunate there for herO. Does miss a tumor. Threatens a Shade. Serral still spreading creep. Oh, can he deny it? Oh, barely. Barely does. Active tumor goes down. herO does find another, throwing down a proxy pylon. And how many gateways is he on? And getting him to 6. Getting him to a 6-gate setup. Still pushing in. Serral coming in from behind, catching reinforcements or going for the run-by. Oh, the stasis though. Ooh. Does notice in time. Keen eyes at a Serral. Oh my god. Calm down. Oh, we'll bleed out some links though. As Serral is going to be cutting workers at 3-base saturation. He does not drone up the 4th. 65 drones. And is massing up Ling Roach. Lings and Roaches are building up. But Serral, he still needs more time. herO pushing in. Behind this, 2 more gates. It's going to be an 8-gate setup. No gases here at the 3rd. It's going to be a 3-base all-in. 3-base all-in here from herO. Files, they do connect. They take down one of the Stalkers. Ling's aiming from behind. The proxy gateway isn't ready. Really not ready. But the warp-in will complete. Serral threatens taking down the tower. Files, they zone away. Tower is gonna fall. That will buy time. And that adds to how defensive Ultra Love is. But here he's still committed. With the Sanction's on the way, bold move out of Serral, taking up towards Hive. Going for a massive Ling run by. Nothing at home to defend. No static defense. No warp in. Forces a recall. Yeah, massive recall here. 6 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, nicely done here out of here. He looks down the Lings. Does knock them down. But Serral shuts down the proxy. Shuts down the proxy. He breaks free. The all-in has failed. I say that. Sorry, there was a backup. There was a backup proxy. Oh my god. Never mind. Here he can keep going. He is down to 7 gates though. So less warp-ins, less reinforcements, but that's still a lot of stalkers. Here he can still reinforce. He can still pull this off. Hive is on the way. Which again, I feel like is too greedy from Serral. And here he dives in. He smells blood in the water. Wow, was it worth it though? Stalkers are going down. Lee's aiming for a surround. And Serral, he's holding. He is able to hold on. Whilst they up. They don't quite connect. Here he kites well. Oracles go down. No more stasis traps. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Serral, as herO is completely all in. Does that +2 on the way? That will help. But there's no other tech. There's no Immortals, there's no Archons, no Storm, no Colossus, no splash damage. Just pure Blink Stalker. And without Oracles, he can't really trade against these Lings. Ideally, you'd have like Stasis Traps behind this. You'd have the Pulsar Beam as well to support. The Oracles just add so much more utility to this army. And without them, the pure Blink Stalker is just not as threatening. Nowhere near as threatening. Ooh, Bailey Rumbai comes in. 13 probes go down. And here he's now down in economy, down in workers. Still cannot get on top of those Ravagers. He's trying to. +2 is done. Another Ling Rumbai. And there's nothing. There's no shield battery. Here he just commits. It's all or nothing. Here he commits in. Stalkers are going down. Where are the blinks? Blinks are late. Hero was otherwise distracted. Stuck on a 2-base economy. Does get on top of the Ravagers though. Ravagers are going down. Here he goes to the dive. And this is a better trade for herO. But Paylings, they do crash in. herO, does he have enough? Down to 5 Ravagers. Lings are trickling in just in time. They trickle in just in time, and here he's running out of steam, running out of Stalkers. Does focus down more of the Ravagers. Is a close trade. The Ravagers complete. And all Serral has to do is just make Lings. Just make Lings from here. Trade with the Stalkers. 28 more Lings in production. And again, these are losses that herO cannot afford. We got more and more Stalkers. He was trying to reinforce, trying to warp in. More Stalkers going down. A couple of boys are pulled as well. herO with 1 extra wave of reinforcements. He does get himself the Ravagers though. Okay. Does get himself the Ravagers. Is it enough? He's down to 7 It's only 7 Stalkers. No shot. Down to 7 Stalkers. This is it. This is the army. This is all that herO has left. 7 more Stalkers on the way. They come in to reinforce. Serral somewhat exposed to those Ravagers. Queens are going down. herO up to 11. After all this, once again, Serral, he peels off a couple of Lings, hits the mineral line, forces a defensive warp in. But here he's broke. Lings, they collapse on the army. GG gets called, and Serral, he ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. GG. We're going all the way to game 3. Again, here the attempted all-in, the attempted HK 3-base all-in, I should say, had a lot of potential. If you recall, the big moment when Serral swung everything in his favor was when he went for the Ling Rumbai. He went for the Ling Rumbai at the 3rd base. That was when he forced the recall, if you remember. He forced herO to recall back home. With that, the proxy got shut down, and I believe it was right after that that herO felt pressure to push in, and that's when herO lost his 2 oracles. And when the Oracles went down, he had no more support for his army. Again, Oracles are such a big part of these 3-base all-ins because of the Stasis Traps, because of the Pulsar Beams. Again, Oracles, they do so well making sure that Lings cannot surround those Stalkers. Once the Oracles fell, Lings, they just wreaked havoc. The rings, they were uncontested, and we saw Serral have a much easier time trading with the army of herO. So a bit of miscontrol there out of herO losing those Oracles, and with that, GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. We are going to game 3, and we'll see how this story ends as we load into another one of these smaller maps. We're going to be loading into ley lines. Oh boy. And I'll be honest, I would have preferred to have seen a 3-base all-in on this map, not on Ultra Love. Aye. Regardless, here we go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Weibo Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player from land of Finland representing Basilisk, tying up the series. Can he bring it back? Can he bring it home? It is Serral. And welcome on and all to Ley Lines. Ley Lines is likewise a smaller map, and the map pool has a similar, if not identical, rush distance to Ultra Love, except the bases are a little bit more exposed. We spoke earlier how defendable the bases are on Ultra Love, how many choke points there are, how many ramps, how many points of elevation there are on Ultra Love. Likewise, even the destructible tower as well to buy more time. Here on Ley Lines, there are some of those features, but not as many. So if herO were to go for something like a 3-base all-in that we saw last game, I do think it could be more effective on ley lines, but I also don't really like the idea of doing that build 2 games in a row. So I appreciate that we saw it on Ultra Love, but that does mean that we most likely will not see it here on ley lines. So I'm curious where herO takes us, as we should be seeing a very different build. The reason why, of course, this time I'm sure Serral is going to be a lot more on notice when it comes to scouting, when it comes to responding, when it comes to respecting that kind of setup. So the chances of an all-in like that working multiple times in a row is much lower. As a part of its effectiveness in the last game was its surprise factor. So for now we're just going to be expanding. Settling in. We go. As we have our standard openers here, getting into our take of choice, and we'll see what we go for. It should be a Stargate out of herO. There we go. Stargate has been thrown down. As a reminder, last game, herO did open Void Ray. Went for a Void Ray opener into the eventual 3-base all-in, and I wouldn't be opposed to herO opening up Void Ray once again, even if he doesn't all-in, just to keep Serral guessing. Just to keep him in the dark. The Stargate is about to finish. The 3rd base, of course, is on the way for Serral. And this time, not a Void Ray Oracle. Okay, it is going to be an Oracle opener out of herO, moving out across the map. So far, this looks like a standard setup. Oracle into a 3rd base, into additional Oracles behind this as well. So far, so good. Standard play out of herO. Second Adept has arrived. 2 Adepts, they can one-shot workers. So they're just keeping eyes on Serral, keeping him honest. If Serral skipped out on Lings, for example, then he could be abused. But Serral, he has made his safety Lings. He's safe and sound at home. Oracle moves out. A second Oracle's on the way. herO, he will expand. And he should be safe. Should be safe. Here he gets 2 drones at the natural, not bad. Getting to his triple Oracle. Just keeping tabs on Serral. And behind this, we should soon be seeing a Twilight Council and a Forge and the upgrades. Again, no big deviation from herO whatsoever. Serral likewise droning. There's a Twilight Council for herO. And we're just waiting for that Forge as well. And there it is. Forge is on the way. So again, it should be plus on a blink. Here he dives into the bases, does catch 2 transferring workers, knows for the 3rd, gets a 4th drone. Very nicely done. As he does outmaneuver Serral. Lings, they get across the map, they get a surround, they catch an adept. Nicely done as well. Serral with some counter damage gets both adepts. Not as valuable as the 4 drones, but damage nonetheless. Did you see like the graphical glitch there? That was it's fixed, but there's something going on. Behind this, it is going to be Blink. There was an option to go into +1 and charge, but Blink is on the horizon. Double Oracle into the main. Gets 3 more drones, 7 in total. Nicely done. Oracles, they are pinned back in the corner of the map, but they can regenerate their shields. And we can see that Serral, he's going for +1 melee. What does this mean? +1 melee into a later lair means no Roachworn. No Roachworn. Baneless instead. It's going to be Lingbane into Hydra into Lurker. So Serral, he is cutting corners. He is taking up quite greedily here. He could be punished for skipping his Roachworn, but herO isn't really doubling down. He isn't really committing to any aggression early on. Did throw in extra gateways into a Robo, but herO should soon be expanding. He should as soon take a 4th. As there's a tech from Serral. Lair is done. Hydrogen on the way. Again, Serral, he is skipping roaches this time. Here he pokes in. This time here he is not taking into Storm. It's going to be a Bay into Colossus. No Storm this time. herO is poking in. Bailing run by has him set up. And herO doesn't react in time. He does move forward. Bailing's there well into the mineral line. Ooh, does warp in. Oh no, they get in. Bailing's there do crash in and they get 4 probes. Whew, could have been so much worse. 4 workers go down. herO he defends. Stasis goes off, getting on top of the queens. Flush transfuse. Serral he's holding. Lings they collapse in. Even catching reinforcements. herO bleeding out a little bit too much here. Again, he's going to be stuck at home. Serral pushing towards that 3rd. The hatchery is taking a lot of damage. Down to less than half HP. herO, can he pull this off? Stasis goes off. Ooh. Not the best connections. The first stasis is going to run out. Hatchery goes down. Massive pickup. And here he has to get the hell out of here. As Lings, they swarm in. They attempt to surround. They get a handful of Stalkers. That was 4 Stalkers going down for 45 Lings and the hatchery. So a better trade from herO. Does pull away. So he has the backup expansion. He is taking the center base. And it's going to be in herO to knock that base down. And here comes a Colossus. herO again, he chose not to expand, he chose not to take a 4th base, instead taking into Colossi, extra warp-ins. Very committed play here by herO, throwing down 2 more gateways. Still no 4th. herO essentially 3 base all in. This time instead of 8 gates, it's 6. It's less with Colossus. So 6 gateways, Colossus production. Massive stasis goes up, and Serral, he's in trouble. Serral, he's in a lot of trouble here. He needs more Lings. They attempt to surround, they get on top of the Robo. Colossus is denied, massive pickup, but it may not matter. Ooh, as another hatchery falls. And now here is up to 2 Colossi. And how can Serral push in? So many Lings going to be going down. And here he's going to make it out in 1st place. As he looks down another hatchery and another. Serral down to 2 bases. Down to 2 hatcheries. Ay, ay, ay. Again, who needs a 4? Who needs one? Here he attempts to expand. Stasis goes up, dives on top of the army, the Hydras are exposed, and herO, he's done it, he's broken Serral. Oracle gets called out, Serral coming in from behind, catching reinforcements, but GG gets called, and herO will take the series 2-1, advancing on into the playoffs. GG. GG. Well played, congratulations herO, he will claim the series, will advance on in first place. Very impressive, very aggressive play here out of herO as well. In game 1, game 2, and in game 3, herO, he was very much so in Serral's face, but that is the difference between herO and a player like MaxPax, for example. MaxPax is a little more standard, a little more macro oriented, into the mid game, into the late game. herO, meanwhile, very much so in your face. He's in your face, was in the face of Serral in all the games, even on Abyssal Reef, the game which led into a longer game state with Skytoss. Even then, herO was trying to kill Serral early on, wasn't quite able to pull it off, but did fall back on that Skytoss, did overwhelm in the end. GG. GG, well played. Even here in game 3, something that I wasn't really expecting was that, again, herO, he threw down extra gateways, he did not expand, he went for a 3-base all-in with Colossus support, with a lower gateway count instead, and did quite well. Did quite well, did overwhelm, did punish Serral for his own build. I should wind it back, and if you recall, something that we were talking about is that Serral, he skipped his roaches. He was going straight Ling Hydra into lurkers. Serral, he was cutting corners, and against an all-in like this, Serral was vulnerable. He was vulnerable. Again, his army was very much so weak against that splash damage against the Colossus, especially when they arrived. There was 0 roaches to defend. GG. GG, well played. And I believe we now have a way to show off what we are up to. Hold on. Let's see if this works. Not quite. Let's see. As vetoes are underway, we're getting ready for our next series. There we go. As we switch our scenes over and catch up on the group itself. We can catch up on the group. Here we go. We have Group B, so we started things off with Serral versus Mana. Serral took down Mana 2-1. herO took down Spirit, and again, herO, he did claim the series in the winner's match to make it through in first place, and we have 2 series left. Up next is the elimination match. There's gonna be some Poland on Poland action here, Polish on Polish, if you will. Spirit versus Mana up next in a TVP. Here we go. So we're going to be going on a short break. Vetoes are underway as we speak, and when we come back, we will have that Turn versus Protoss, and of course, that leads us into the final series against Serral. As Serral, he is in the decider match. He still has another game ahead of it. For now, we're going to be going on a short break, and we'll be back soon with our next series. See you soon. See you soon.